arrival in Sarajevo included absolutely no luggage. So we are sitting, waiting, filling out forms. JR's thrilled. What are you drinking, AJ? First beer in Sarajevo.
Sarajevo.
Sarajevo. Don't get so drunk you wet your pants because you only have one spare pair of underwear.
This is our hotel. We're gonna walk down to the Turkish square.
They're carrot crocs. They're
Carrot?
orange and green. And it says carrot.
They're the ugliest things I've ever seen. Nice.
Much we just have been on the
So long.
Say that again, Diane. This is too funny. Diane, what time is it?
I called the desk because her clock said 2:30 in the morning and mine said 8:30 in the morning. So I called the desk. What time is it, please? It is 8:36. Okay, that's what we needed to know.
Oh, no, we really gotta get up.
So they went to bed an hour ago and they got back up.
Got all ready for the day.
Yeah.
And now we know what they're wearing tomorrow.
It happens, I'm telling you.
Only got 12 hours to wait for breakfast to open up.
Here we're having breakfast. The hotel sauna. Looks like they've got some good stuff over there. First European breakfast.
only have been an hour.
This is where they divided the city.
So, east and west. Generally, when you look over there, these are all Ottoman buildings. And when you look down there, west, these are all Hungarian. So I told you, some of these streets would be like specific to certain crafts. So this street is Kazanca Street. That means that they are making these pots for Bosnian coffee. So when in Bosnia, never ask for Turkish coffee, ask for Bosnian coffee. Although it's pretty much the same, just tiny difference in making it, not anything big, and obviously it tastes.
This was a mall built in the 1500s, still functioning. Sucket Holiday Village.
There are only two such mechanisms in the world, like this one. The other one
It's
is
set to Islamic time.
in fact one of the greatest military victories in history. Not in the terms of soldiers, enemy soldiers they killed, but because they killed both Hungarian king and his two sons. So Hungary was doing it like this. So
It's going to be JR in a few minutes.
obviously you need to punctuate on prayer.
It's a 16th century
This
hotel.
foundation of Kazanca Şebek is
Used to be able to stay here free for 3
so
days,
even today, these buildings are still operating.
including getting your horses fed. We're trying some
What is this?
Turkish delight. It usually goes with
delight.
Bosnian coffee.
Bosnian
And
coffee.
sugar.
And what kind of tea is that?
Yeah, you can.
Turkish tea.
You also have sugar. Oh, I got them.
AJ's having Turkish tea.
Okay, so what do you do first? Do you just pour the coffee and then
Whatever
add?
you can pour the coffee or mix. You know, some people like it this way. Other.
Down where?
But generally, Bosnian coffee would be without milk.
There's big trees here. There's little trees here. The little trees were planted after the war. The big trees were used for cover from snipers that used to go up on that hill, shoot people that walked along the river. So these trees got burned down and used for cooking, starting fires, because this building provided cover. But this tree was used for cover in between the buildings.
Style after the Alhambra Palace. So
It's
you
the
remember,
city hall.
In the synagogue, I mentioned
Built in
Alhambra
1898.
where they were bigger. Sometimes we have
Latin
floods.
Bridge.
I think like in 2014.
We had to stop and eat some Burek
is the hotel.
meat pie
Is it just abandoned?
and pumpkin pie and cheese pie.
No, it was actually a war zone because there was a big
AJ
battle
and
of
I
Pigman.
prefer the meat pie.
Yeah. So that cannon, it fires, you know, during Ramadan, the Islamic holy month. Muslims fast from from dawn to dusk. But just for everyone to know. And so on the 15th of May 1992, Serbian army takes over Pofalic. So you see that big tower over there. So just behind it, see those houses behind, that's a place called Pofalic. So I told you the Serbian army took over, on the 2nd of May took over Grbavica. Pofalic is just opposite to it. So if you look at the city, it's kind of long, narrow and long. So these two areas stand opposite to each other. And if there was a danger, if Serbian army launches its offensive to connect these two areas, which is around 1.5 kilometers apart, so 1 mile apart, then you will not have one city under siege, you will have two cities under siege. And practically all military experts agree if that had happened, the city would have been lost. So that is one of the reasons for the offensive of the Bosnian army on the 16th of May. Is it too hot for you guys? Right here. So, 26th of May, 1992. This place was a hospital. I was actually born here. Most people in Sarajevo were born here.
He's tunneling.
Yeah, I'll need a helmet.
Everybody else went down without it. West through the tunnel.
JR, smile. Going into the tunnel, they used to smuggle stuff in and out of Sarajevo. Here we are after a short 10-minute walk at the dilapidated bobsled run. It's got bullet holes in it.
Last year they had floods in Germany, so there around 500 million Yugoslav dinars.
Okay, and go up by the track?
Yeah.
A rose of Sarajevo,
Yeah, just like for everyone to know.
red
But
paint
in
to
other
represent the
roads,
blood,
this is
and these
the
are
only one
found
with
where
these
people were
other
killed
roads is not like this.
by artillery shells. Outside of a church. And they asked never to repair that section of the church where the bullet holes are, so they'll never forget.
JR reminds me of the March of the Wildebeest. We're going to try to find a brewery marching in 98-degree weather. Of all the things I've videoed before.
It's better than a penis.
Like the last time.
AJ, put your tip on.
More tip, AJ.
No, AJ. There's tips right there.
Brought to you by
AJ. I think it's this way.
Oh, that's where you stand at first or
Why are you videoing this?
It's gonna make a video.
Obviously, I've done this before.
Here we are in Mostar, which means Old Bridge. Here's some ideas for home. We got rocks. I don't know if we have the artistry to make it look this good though. There's the old bridge.
Face the other direction, Mom.
Floor is very slick here.
Jestem.
This guy's just teasing us. He's trying to collect money before he jumps. It's 100 degrees out of the water and freezing in the water. Feels pretty good. We're inside the mosque. Slightly out of breath.
Okay, don't get me.
It's only like 95 and it's sweaty.
I know they're super narrow. Oh, yeah. The breeze right here. Good, let me see you. I already have a hold on in the skirt. Okay, here goes.
It's the old bridge from the mosque. We'll go climb that one now. We're warmed up. It's the top of the minaret. We're just up there. Litvitsi. 95 degrees. We're cooking. You guys notice the only two people with beer in this whole swimming hole happen to be those two. Courtney's been puking all day, so she's really not drinking.
Cheers.
by Kravici Park.
Also, they have so many cool bridges.
All I got is Scotty's head blocking the water.
It should be its own national park. I mean, they got just nasty little thorns that stick in.
Here's our room in Dubrovnik,
Somewhat fancy.
Oceanside. It's got a little patio that overlooks, I don't know, the neighbors. The ocean's somewhere here. Let's look. Hey, there's a church, it looks like. The ocean happens to be over there. It's not the ocean, it's the sea. That's what we can have for dinner.
Monkfish, like that. Wine.
Sea bream.
There's a lobster there that's bigger than
Good, right? Sea bream.
Sea bream, but we only have
you could imagine.
like very good. So you can okay. So we have sea bass.
Is it okay? Yeah, we have a really terrible seating here, right on the ocean. Givoli!
Oh, we gotta do it again.
Right at the other end of the table, finally shared eggplant, no, tuna. Lisa's about to eat the squid ink risotto with mussel. What kind of fish is in it?
Cuttlefish.
Cuttlefish in it. Give me a big old grin now. A little dark, but not real black.
It's tasty.
What?
The cuttlefish stuff. We got some prawns here. We got some mussels.
What is this giant spoon?
I think all the really good stuff probably stayed at that end of the table.
I'm gonna have to
Nice. He's having the squid ink risotto.
Yeah, let's
Oh, look at this. It is a lobster that's been previously smashed in, she said.
AJ.
Ready to go out, honey?
I think
First we film it, then we eat it.
We used to hold this up so I can.
Did you guys get your corn dogs down there? We got new lobster, new plates coming. Oh, look at that. Nice. Look at this stuff. There's prawns and lobster. Looks pretty good.
all the meat you got out of that one thing.
Big prawns.
You gotta eat the eyeballs too. It's the good stuff. Suck their brains out.
My towel's gonna look like his here in a minute.
Like this one.
Thank you.
Everybody enjoy this application.
Thank you.
Dessert course.
Looks like
Snort got, what is that?
Poached pear.
A poached pear. Guess you got a souffle.
Which good?
Souffle.
Cheesecake.
Cheesecake.
Blueberry cheesecake.
I think she should probably leave it down here by me. We're gonna have a competition who has the worst napkin.
oh, Diana.
Diane might. That could be a solid first.
We have the baseball one too.
I think I'm pretty good.
Wild
I don't
pitch.
think I want to be in the running for this one.
You just wiped in your pants or what?
Yeah.
She doesn't even unfold hers. It's almost new. Scotty, hold up your napkin.
Yep. How's the napkin contest?
I'm winning.
Diane's ahead so
I
far.
better show my shorts.
Yeah.
And look at the tablecloth.
Okay.
Yeah, tablecloth kind of got the worst.
AJ,
Michael is.
Michael
Michael's
might
the
be.
winner.
Well,
Oh, look
let's
at
get around there.
JR's.
JR did pretty good.
Ours pretty good. That's beautiful.
Mine's not very good.
Wait a minute, I'll come over here.
Which side?
Weasel, that's pretty bad, Weasel. Michael, the undisputed winner. I think.
We're having a face-off.
Yeah, let's see yours.
Oh, that was pretty good. There's a lot of stuff.
Carmen's is too clean. Chrissy's isn't even used.
Michael wins.
Oh yeah.
Courtney's isn't even used. Lisa, that's pretty bad.
I think I'm in the right.
Every time I ate a prawn, I would just rub my
All right, first place, Michael. Second place, Diane. Third place, Lisa.
Seville.
Chivio.
Cheers.
Here we are at the old city of Dubrovnik.
Okay, we are off. All right. Yeah, many scenes were filmed over there inside this fortress called Fortress of St. Louis. But now we just take a photo stuff and then
This place would be hard to attack by the sea.
That's some pretty water.
Instead of listening to the tour guide, JR was studying the local artwork. He said it looked like me in the lobby.
inside the old inside the old town. Very soon we'll get to the main street down there. Take a look at this statue of the gate. That's our patron saint. Blaise. Have you heard of Saint Blaise?
Saint Blaise, patron saint.
Very easy to recognize his statue.
Well, that was the pharmacy.
Yesterday morning, it was actually close to Moscow. There was one small earthquake in the morning. It was not very good, so don't worry, it doesn't happen often, or it's not never very strong. Although my mom, she swears she feels earthquake every day. It's just in her head because she knows we can have earthquakes over here.
That's the relic of Saint Blaise. Supposedly his leg and foot are in there. And there's another one somewhere else here in town. Evidently it was a custom back in those days to chop people up and display them.
Collect. Over here you'll find from different churches. Not everything is from this church, Franciscan church. Some sacred art. And in the next.
AJ found a friend. AJ says that guy looks like Courtney on the bus yesterday. Used to haul the rector around in these little sedans, they're called. It's a nice touch.
More than 120 institutions along the walls. There we have all the US souvenirs. That was also quite popular.
It's the rector's bedroom. Every month they elected a new rector. So you sleep in that for 30 days and then out you go. the Game of Thrones steps, evidently.
You're trying to reach up to his nose.
Double left. I think it's just take my hand up there. It's okay. It's okay. That's close enough.
I think I'll go this way.
That's the hole, huh? That water.
Oh, that breeze feels good.
Because they were here. Actually, I'm surprised they're still here.
I mentioned 1 minute later, basically the whole cable car.
Here we are swimming in the Adriatic. There's a grumpy old man in the water too.
Starting the tour of the old city walls. We're gassed. We just had to climb 80 steps. JR, here's a good idea for you. We gotta hike all the way up there. It's 95 degrees still at 6 o'clock. Down there earlier today. I think that might be a Venetian ship coming to attack.
No.
They're trying to.
I'm so sweaty. And I'm trying to do it.
Yeah, I read that.
This is where we went and had a beer and swam this afternoon. This is the court where the basketball players and the soccer stars have their world famous Croatian battles. That's the topless beach that AJ and Scotty went to. My zoom isn't quite good enough. Look at the healthy breakfast Lisa's eating.
It's mostly gone. Yesterday I had heat. Today I was.
I just ate burek for breakfast. Here's Old Town.
And it depends of the business, kind of business.
Tanki ってすぐ怒る。
AJ's sampling a rum and coke that they put an orange slice in. Thinks he's gonna have a new drink special for Monty. I'm having the barley soup for breakfast. We decided this is where they do the human sacrifices to the god of the mountain. AJ's sad because there's no zip lining today. All the fruits got fruity drinks. She ordered a big slushy drink and he got this little metal cup full of drool. Lisa's eating a baby octopus. Baby killer.
Look at this one.
That is a full-grown baby octopus. Frama's gonna eat it in one bite. I think we're gonna be riding on that bad boy. Leaving Dubrovnik. That's Konzum, home of the giant $2.50 beers. On our way to Split. We got priority seating in the back. Stopped at some little town on the ferry. Bar. We're going to come back here tomorrow. We're on the ferry. Split. It's morning in Split. So this is my private balcony. Comes with the presidential suite.
That's because you were in the smooth.
Star date Sunday, whatever it is. We've been fighting with the airlines and lost and found, and we still have no bags. We are trying to find a place to have multiple beers so we can get over the fact that JR has no clean underwear for tomorrow. We're right outside one of the main gates to the Diocletian's Palace, which is right there. There seem to be a lot of swallows flying around.
See the tree growing up there?
There's water dripping off the electric lines. Sure that's safe.
Right there.
The old palace looked like. Not exactly like that anymore. We are in Diocletian's palace.
All the way up into.
JR has been our leader for the last 30 minutes. Have seen 0 bars. As a plan to solve our underwear shortage, AJ is supposed to climb up there and grab some.
Except for that security camera.
Wandering through the ruins of the palace. Some of it hasn't been kept up as well as others.
What's that? About me?
This is our Irish pub moment. Waiting for our boat to arrive. A 3-hour cruise.
Watch the road go
Say that again. Here we go. Yeah.
Sit back and relax. You want to take your sunglasses off. The other section we don't ask to turn the flash off. At the bottom you can clearly see there's something white. Well, that would be sand. And that sand is crucial.
It's natural light from outside.
A little bit of light that is above the water doesn't do any effect. So that is something insignificant. This is all limestone, who wants to know? Geology.
Yeah, we wondered about what it's made of.
That's all. Now what I really like, when this boat comes across, if he does, we're gonna see those people as shadows.
One very special, so I will tell you, and maybe some of you will guess what's the name, because
It's called legs.
I already got you.
in Europe. The beach is shaped like a half moon behind those two rocks. You see. Also, this was maybe. If I show you with a finger, you can see between those. Tell your children.
These two and this one. Got the meal for the fish plate for two. Lisa got the fish in red sauce. Weasel got, what'd you get, Weasel?
Seafood risotto.
gate right in there. All this beachfront. And only one bathing beauty. This one's for you girls. Bus stop on the way to Rastoki. I've been told there are waterfalls here somewhere.
Be careful, it's slick.
These are slick stairs.
Bats up in this cave. This, my friends, is the big waterfall. Lunch by the lake. AJ got a hot dog. Mom got some kind of a
Prosciutto and cheese.
ham sandwich. Weasel already ate her ice cream.
Cheese and pickles.
Cheese and pickle sandwich.
That was good.
There's my hot dog. I love it here. These guys are eating dogs.
Oh yeah.
Pretty good.
How good?
It's good.
Almost back to the bus. This is the hotel that Diane and Mary and JR have been sipping drinks in all afternoon while we were hiking along the lake.
Now.
Rastoki at night. Sunset. Traditional clothing, Croatian people. is the traditional clothes washer. What runs the mills that are upstairs. Here's the 2 grinding stones. This is the traditional Croatian beer cooler. It's a little bit bigger than our bus yesterday. Getting off of our air-conditioned bus in Bribir, Carmen's family's homeland.
Just look at the sweater. No, I see.
To be honest, I really don't. But it looks the same like the things they use there.
This is house 48. That means it was the 48th house built in this town. I think we're looking for 72, but they're not in any particular order. They're just numbered by sequence when they were built. Doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. Diane's getting honked at.
Well, I think I see the house, Michael.
That's the church we were just in, or by, the graveyard. And then we tried to hike to a house that's somewhere up there. Didn't make it. Seaside dining across the interstate. Trying to figure out how to order McDonald's food. It's like a little boy at Christmas.
Have a bite. I'm just curious.
Probably checking on an incident Courtney had at the Vatican several years ago, being improperly dressed. This guy's right outside our hotel. This guy represents the resistance fighters in World War II. Not really sure what this is, but it's the closest thing I've seen to a horse's ass. So hey Scotty, this one's for you. It's the main square in Ljubljana. That's the park view through JR's ear. Prairie Water Company.
Prairie Water Company's new
Eastern
rig.
Division.
the groundwater in both and put on many masks. So we have a mask for every occasion, and not every mask is a pleasant one.
There's one for the boys, Lisa.
Let's not move. This building here, the white one, the sticking out one, that's the town hall. Here a lot.
This is the
So
door
this
on a
door
church.
here represents the history of Christianity.
Rub that
here.
nose, you're lucky.
This is the cathedral dedicated to St. Nicholas, a very important saint because St. Nicholas brings presents. We are not particularly religious as kids, but we all know St. Nicholas, and we all wait for the
It's a Catholic church. When they built it, they put Roman gravestones in their
When
walls.
they were building medieval Ljubljana, they just took stones from Emona, they took the gravestones. They had no emotional... How it all started in the 8th century when the Slovenian ancestors, our ancestors, lost their independence, political independence, and with it they also lost their own pagan faith. The first missionaries who came to convert...
It looks like a bird beak, doesn't it?
Kind of a pointy nose. Fun, particular.
Any guesses how deep this is?
It's an old Roman well.
It was covered. And then in the 19th century, when the whole castle was turned into a prison, they did some digging, they removed some soil here.
Driven by two prisoners. That was where you pooped out of the castle.
So after the Roman times,
And would fall 3 stories into a pile.
The Romans left in about 5th century,
Sweet.
and for a while, and that was for cannons. So the castle was built right at the point where both types of weapons were still used. And such castles, after the introduction, children's characters. And this is the entrance into the castle. Everybody who came in here was checked by soldiers, and on the first floor there was...
We're learning about the prison that this turned into after it was no longer useful as a castle. They're open-air prison cells where they put the really bad prisoners. They didn't even have a roof over their head. If you were of noble birth, this was the prison. Entering the penitentiary.
The soldiers that were imprisoned here. On the side you have the political prisoners. Actually, you have to see many sheets of glass. So 1914, 1919, this is all political.
It's the poop room.
Either like it or not, twice a week, and without a meal, that's food here.
Farms includes tables.
So with the end of the 19th century, the prison was gone. After the earthquake, castle was chose governors to rule Ljubljana on their behalf. So they go in and look out of those windows, then we'll see the
It's the triple bridge. When they built it, they realized before they were done that it was too narrow. So they put additional walkways on both sides for pedestrians, and then the carriages and cars used the regular bridge. Now it's all pedestrian. Our hotel is up that street somewhere, about 3 blocks. This is the famous lock bridge. We forgot a lock, so we're going to pretend that we put a lock on here. The guy brought disco to the area back in the 70s. This is the world famous Dragon Bridge. We were sitting outside that table, and the waiter said, "Finish your hors d'oeuvre and go inside because it's going to rain." And we thought, yeah, whatever. So now they got the door is flooding, water running in the door. It was quite a rain. So anyway, I went with truffle beef dish. Sarah got the ribs, which look pretty damn good. Sarah forgot the same thing as me. Lisa got a seafood pasta thing. Beautiful morning. 210-year-old. Headline just said, "I have the view of Scotty." And she gets to look at this. Who got the better deal? There's JR and Jennifer behind us. Here we are on the scenic shores of Lake Bled. We could turn that one into a Stockman Bank. I could get an office that overlooks Lake Bled.
Something for everyone.
Another swimming area.
Yeah, the kids are liking that. we found the special world famous sausage.
And we can't get Google Maps to work.
we can't find the bus stop, so
It's been nice knowing
we'll
you.
be eating this forever. That was good. Get into trouble, you gotta spend the night down there. This guy's the judge. This is the courtroom. If he found you guilty, they threw you down a hole that's behind that door. It's the torture chamber. They've detected a lot of ghosts in here. They made drains in these walls so any water that dripped through would not get on the floor. It would run down into that hole. Here we are on the, what do they call this, the patio?
Yeah, the coffee deck. I can imagine myself having a cup of coffee here in the morning.
You had servants to carry it up here for you. It used to be a warning bell, but if you ring it now, you get a wish, as long as it's a sincere wish. What'd you wish for, Courtney?
A cold glass of wine. What'd you wish for?
World peace.
That's what I was gonna wish for. That was mine. Double it up.
That's not sincere.
It is too sincere.
How about a winning lottery ticket?
Yeah.
That's
You want that
sincere.
yacht?
That was pretty late.
Water dripped into those things, into that big tray. Then it would go down through these pipes to lower floors in the castle. This is the small secret room where the family hid their treasures. That's the toilet that the guy was sitting in when cannonballs got him. Entrance to the cave. It's supposed to be like 50 degrees in here, so JR is looking forward to it.
The tallest and the oldest dripstone in our cave, or not in the whole cave, but in a cave, in a part which is open for the public. So the skyscraper. But out of those space, we're going to see 4 kilometers. Have you ever seen the Leaning Tower of Pisa?
It's called curtains.
Older than one.
It's way wider because it's more pure limestone.
We call them spaghettis. Right? So those are the spaghetti and the spaghetti cheese.
Tried to leave my video camera here, but I went back and got it. We're staying here at the Savoia Excelsior Palace. It's just about the same as the Super 8 and Cut Bank, I think. I might get that room right there. You gotta work, Chrissy. We ordered one beer, one wine. We got hors d'oeuvres. Pretty fancy pants place we're in here. We're having the fried fish platter, and so is JR. Jennifer went with a scampi spaghetti option, and we're sharing. That's all Lisa gets. These must be some important dudes. Trieste.
The potato chips are awesome here.
Here we are at the end of the pier. Trieste. This is the third-rate shack we're staying in. What we paid for this trip, you'd think Chrissy could find a better place for us to sleep. That's probably Scotty on the balcony there. There's the breakfast in Trieste. I just found my souvenirs for all my friends. We got bread. We got juice. We got pastries. There's hot stuff over there. Miramar.
And he came back later after the First World War, but Trieste was changed. So then he went.
On our morning tour,
So,
City Hall.
It's like Wien.
It's rather new. It was built in the 1870s. Going into an old-fashioned coffee shop just to see what it's like. Kind of like Latte Da. This is the Greek Orthodox Church. The Grand Canal. AJ is walking up the Grand Canal to the church that's named after him, which is that one. The Church of St. Anthony. Finally, a sighting of Scotty. This building was the head of the police. There's some Roman ruins inside that little display. They built a big cathedral on top of the old Roman ruins. It's a cannonball that was left over from when Napoleon took the place over. It's the patron saint of Trieste.
Good to know.
Inside the cathedral.
with the thrown in the Gulf of Trieste.
There's San Giusto.
Also, you
The
see
Romans
there
were
is a
throwing him in the
window
water.
in alabaster. This is the Virgin Mary with Christ. He has the archangels, Michael and
Scotty skipped the church. Slam a coffee.
because of the glorification
Courtney and
of
Lisa
the
just said,
body,
let's
okay?
go look at that
So
statue.
Very nice young boys.
I have no idea what it's
nice
all
ones.
about,
They
but
represent the soldiers of the First World War.
the Austrian Hungarians are like the Germans, they number their trees. View from Castle Hill. It's the gate into the Miramar Castle. We'll put one of these at the end of our driveway.
Stone from Istria, because it's a stone that is very
Built in the 1850s. They had steam heat.
Oh, that guy is. He doesn't really fit in with everybody else. Oh, the terrace is much cooler than the interior of the house. Who's this good-looking thing?
Yeah, I don't know what the middle part was, but
We are in the garden. Back at the castle. Chrissy, what do you have to report?
Pizza Primavera, spring pizza. It's good.
And yours is
Pistachio.
pistachio pizza.
Pizza Prima de Pistachio.
Oh, you ordered something else and that's what they brought you?
No.
Oh.
She ordered our 2 pizzas.
Oh.
Like, I don't care. So I said, how about pistachio pizza?
All right, we got your basic noodles with sausage on top.
making kit that can make burradas. A little bit of What do you want to do with my face?
What?
Kelsey sent a snap.
I think she's giving me hand signals. JR shopping for a new car.
Ma scusa, non possiamo farla con la fotografia normale.
Riding on the train between Trieste and Venice.
We furthermore invite any passengers without a valid ticket.
Happy train travelers.
Look out for Lisa, she jumps. I sensed a presence there.
Here we are cruising on the canals. Oh, he's putting the roof up.
There's the old church.
The big church.
It's a red church, yeah. The super tipper just did his work.
You're carrying all these bags, Bob?
How are you young fellers doing? Us old farts had a pretty good ride. I guess we're going the other way. Oh no, we're going that way. All our bags, one cart.
There's spare tires with it.
Yeah, he's got spare tires in case our luggage blows one out. We took a water taxi from the train station. And if I'm not mistaken, I think we're walking back to the train station. Sausage. Mmm. Buon viciati. Inside our hotel in Venice. It appears that once again I did not get the presidential suite. See keys to hotels much anymore, but evidently we have some. Here's our room in Venice, starting with the chandelier. Lisa found the light switch. Nice. View of the square outside of our room. Here's our room in the hotel, right there. I'm guessing that's one of the better views. Off we go on our guided tour. They're ringing the bells because it's 2 o'clock. St. Mark's Basilica. Kind of a similar profile. It's the story of Genesis. It's the tomb of St. Mark. It's the golden altarpiece. It's all gold, jewels, and precious metals. It's supposed to be the baby Jesus. It looks like a 45-year-old accountant. No comment needed.
What's that?
The Quadri of Dalmatians, the horses of St. Mark. Chrissy just pointed out 4 of these Scotty icons. That was a mailbox. If your neighbors didn't pay their taxes, you would put a letter in there telling the government that. The Doja had a little fancier huffer puffer than that what I got. A little disturbing. This is the armory. There's an old gun that had 20 barrels. It's the Bridge of Sighs. That's where they would take the condemned prisoners across.
Just patters with all these people screaming, complaining all the time.
That's the guy I saw before. I thought it was an alligator, but it looks like some kind of a fish dog. Napoleon built this, one of the many things he did. In 1800, he brought these flowers from South Africa. Bovola. I think I'm gonna like this. It looks kind of like
Taking a picture, don't touch it.
some kind of. Hey, I'm trying to eat here.
I'll shove this whole thing into the canal right now.
JR went lasagna. These two split up. Lobster
No,
crab.
Crab.
Man, that looks so good.
Smile, Mom.
This was almost embarrassing watching you two eat. There was chunks flying everywhere.
Shrapnel, shell fragments.
JR and I both have dirty shirts.
You both have what?
Dirty shirts.
From the shell fragment.
What'd you get, Snort?
That's spaghetti with clams. It's really good.
AJ got the lasagna. Scotty got what?
Penny.
Penny. We got lobster spaghetti over here. That looks pretty good.
Chin
Chin chin.
Take photo, please, with you, Mr. Gigi. I love you too. Italiana, sexy man. Look what you do.
Look at that sexy man. Look at this food.
This is we call the, ladies and gentlemen, Viagra, Italy Viagra. Wow!
That guy might have tamed an alligator one time. And that's a flying something or other, lion. Son has those.
100 euro?
They ordered the large beers.
We may have chosen poorly too.
Get to look out over this courtyard. Watch the gondolas go by. Guys getting a full body workout. Rialto Bridge. We almost lost JR here.
Isn't it divinity?
It's noon. First organ I've seen on the trip. Scotty takes a cruise on a speedboat. The Sheebles take public taxi, water taxi. Came all the way across town to go to the casino. It's locked. JR thinks he knows where the Grand Canal is. I'm not sure I believe him. It opens at 4 o'clock.
We couldn't go on our Riva boat with ball caps on.
You guys are fedorable.
AJ, look
Our
at
boat was
We were shooting off our boat.
It was so fun. Really.
But we.
Once, guys. No, c'era un fio che voi altri
See you, losers. Here we go. Here we are. Gondola. Cool. We ate there once, had beer there once. First name basis with all the wait stuff. This is the Rialto Bridge. We're on the Grand Canal.
Lippi, allora de dentro vem giù e ti vieni. Di dentro ti passa giù e ti vieni. Non va fretta. No, che te vieni per dentro.
No, bisogna andare.
Squirt Doug when he's shaking out.
Di bava. Dovete mettere il freno.
Alright, you guys.
Just some.
Cheers.
Ciao, ciao Rocco. Mattia, vai.
That's so pretty back that way.
Diretto su. Torna in via, pop in via.
I'm so glad you guys caught us.
I know.
Here's to Venice.
We try to bring him up right.
I love you.
Like 15. Yeah, so that's like cool stuff. Then last bag is like I don't want it.
glass here.
Oh, we have ours.
We gave ours. We had an extra glass, and we gave him a glass.
Sneak out of town to dead at night. What the hell's wrong with us?
They didn't even pay our bar bill.
In case the authorities come after us.
Here we are in our water taxi.
What?
10 or something.
Goodbye, hotel.
Goodbye meatballs. Goodbye pizza.
Goodbye hand-sized beers.